Goodness. Sorry. So in the continuing saga that is Aliens Colonial Marines, we have some devs chiming in defense of why the final product is or never was going to be anything like the E3 demo. And that even the E3 demo itself, as reported by Jim Sterling, wasn't even playable in and of itself. Meaning that the whole theatrical presentation at E3 was just that. It was smoke, it was mirrors, it was a dog and pony show, and it was a lie. From the moment it started, it was a lie. The person playing the game wasn't even playing the game. It was a lie. And this still doesn't explain the failings of even the PC edition, as I'll go through with you. So let's get into this, shall we? Because I'm so far past sick of hearing everything but what actually happened and why. And the downside of all this has hurt the gaming market. This has hurt consumer confidence, and rightly so, because this is a load of bullcrap. Developer on why Aliens 3 E3 demo was better than game. There's reasons the demos were never playable. The Aliens Colonial Marines E3 demo was sure neat, but you know what wasn't neat? The actual game. According to an anonymous source that spoke to Kotaku, this was always going to be the case, since the demo ran on hardware that far outmatched the power of current-gen consoles. Quote, "We were told many times through demo production, don't worry about performance, just make it awesome," said the Kotaku's mysterious source. There was a reason the demos were never playable. According to Kotaku, the E3 demo was built by TimeGate with animations by Gearbox, and it ran in real time. Due to budgeting and realities of current-gen hardware, the development team, the jury is still out on exactly who that is, TimeGate or Gearbox, had to cut back the visual production, and don't the results show? We were constantly cutting back more and more in terms of textures, shader, and particle fidelity in order to fit the jacked memory restraints, said a separate, unnamed source. And that is how you go from WoW to a 2.5. Okay, I'll bite. Because that would make sense. That's why the PC edition is so much more superior than the console edition. Oh wait, no, that's right, it's not. No, granted, I've read enough reviews to know that it is slightly better than the console editions and is the preferred edition graphically. But slight is not the E3 demo. Here's one thing that I have a problem with. Look at the link down in the underbar. Pause this video if necessary. Look at the little GIF that shows demo final. I know games. I know poly counts. You're fucking telling me that those little dividers that were like in the movie, like in that hallway where you see that the hallway it has a little divider that's a little lower than the rest of the hallway. You cannot possibly tell me that they couldn't have put that in-game, that would have taxed the consoles so badly. Yes, I've read the insider reports that say that the PS3 edition was already overtaxing the PS3 edition as a cluster screw of a mess that it was. But here's the thing. Look at the PC game editions versus console editions, and this would point more, in some cases, to Sega wanting to push the product out to make some kind of money back on this, because you could have the game have those graphical capabilities and animations and have them have dimmer switches, as it were, for the graphics to nerf the game beyond what the original capacity was on the PC. They've done it before with few exceptions. You know, it's not like Black Ops, where Black Ops is so ridiculously overpowered that even the best of the gaming rigs that it came out on at the time couldn't handle it. No, no, this is more akin to Crisis. This is more akin to those games that are the benchmarks of what PC gaming can be, while also having ways to nerf the graphics so that lower graphical systems can still run and handle the game in 9 out of 10 cases. So I'm sorry, but this does not completely hold up. Or if it does, it just shows how absolutely lazy the production was. If it's Gearbox telling TimeGate that they had to cut back, then Gearbox is an idiot. Gearbox just did not care about this project because, you know what? If the PC edition was half what the demo was and I could make it so with graphical switches, then we would almost all at least have gone for the PC edition and at least been mostly happy in terms of the atmosphere, the graphics, and the way that the animations were. You know, you could have really, you're admitting that many stories, regurgitating most of this story, were saying that most of what was running at E3 was running on a high-end PC. That's it. Not, oh, it was running on a PC farm. You know, like how a lot of games in days of yore were created, where it was a farm of computers all working as one computer, because we have quad cores, because we have, you know, dual quad core capabilities, and on and on and on. The fact that you're telling me that the original demo on some level, you know, ran, but it ran in real time on a high-end PC, just shows me that you just said, well, crap. You know, you cannot tell me that you looked at the consoles and said, well, we've got to make them all the same across the board, because technically you didn't make the PC one equal to the console ones. You made it a slight bit better. Slight. And it could have been what the E3 demo was for those who have the high-end gaming platform. But no, no. You threw it out. You threw all of that out. You kept cutting back at times with scenery pieces that, again, I'm telling you, the game could have handled that little divider. That was not going to push the poly count up to ridiculous amounts unless it's so finely detailed that there's like little cracks that add poly to it or all sorts of things. See, I 3D model, not for a living, although I am making a project that is going to become a production scale model that people can build themselves, but I digress. That's a whole nother talk for a whole nother time. I've made models for games. I've known when to push forward, when to cut back on poly, and it's been a fight for me at times, because at times I really want to put every little detail on a model, but I know that as game engines were at the time that had been working for Ugly Wart Studio, you just couldn't do that. It was up to the skinner to put extra detail that would look better as a texture than it would as an actual full-fledged 3D item. See, I know my models, okay? I know my PC gaming, even if I might rag on PC gaming on some levels, because I'm tired of the, oh, PC's so elite, consoles are the suck, because I'm not finding that that's entirely the case. Both have great products, and I do love the modability of the PC over the console. I absolutely do. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a PC elitist, nor am I a console elitist. But again, this is probably true, but if it is true, it just points to laziness. They could have given us at least very close to the E3 demo on the PC edition. They could have nerfed it with graphical settings. They've done this crap before. Don't act like they couldn't have done it. They could have. But no, this was a lazy production by, at most, probably Gearbox, saying, who assured us that they were all Aliens fans, which I do believe on some levels. But everything that we know, or that we could almost substantiate, is that Gearbox really didn't want to do this project. They just wanted money from Sega to publish Borderlands and Borderlands 2 and everything else could suck it. That's part of why Duke Nukem suffered. That's a big part of why Aliens suffered, because they were constantly pawning off the Aliens Colonial Marines project to whoever would take it. This is why you have so many names on the beginning screen of all these studios that contributed in some small way. And meanwhile, we still don't have answers. Okay, I will give you that the consoles likely couldn't have handled the atmospherics of the E3 demo. PCs sure as hell could have. And again, this is still just more of this doesn't really absolve Gearbox or Timegate. This is more of this just shows how absolutely friggin' lazy this whole job was, and how they constantly lied to our faces as gamers, telling us this was going to be the end-all be-all, showing this demo and literally acting as if it was a live played demo, that it was a playable version of the game when it was not at all. And they failed to tell us any of this. It's taken people risking their non-disclosure agreements and their jobs to try to give us a picture of where this whole project went wrong, and we still don't have any answers. Because Gearbox doesn't want to touch this, Sega doesn't want to touch this, and meanwhile, their silence speaks volumes and is hurting the gaming industry as a whole. It's pretty terrible when we've gone from pulling a Dreamcast, which is a phrase I personally hate because I love Dreamcast, to pulling a Gearbox, which is actually an apt analogy, since Gearbox basically lied to us all through production, promised us if we pre-ordered this we would have all these wonderful things for our game, showed us the E3 demo, promising, or at least making it seem as though that was going to be the product we got, and that's not the product that we received. They have horribly damaged consumer confidence in gaming and gaming systems, and they need to be culpable for it. Randy Pitchford, you are a terrible, terrible human being. I hope you understand this. I have no faith in your company, and I will not be buying Borderlands 2, whether at full price or with partial credit at GameStop. I had a lot of gaming investments I was going to make into your products. I'm not going to do it anymore. You can suck my cock.